Well, I was going to try to do this on a live stream, but I guess the live stream software was not working. I don't know what's going on, so it kept disconnecting. Anyway, I wanted to make some comments about this whole Michael Heiser situation because I've had a number of people reach out to me because I was involved in this particular project that had to do with Michael Heiser. So if you're not familiar with the situation, I'll just kind of quickly outline it for you here. Michael Heiser, very popular Old Testament scholar, passed away not too long ago. And he had a very popular book called The Unseen Realm. I have critiqued Heiser in the past. There are a few videos that I've done, a few podcasts, dealing with some of his interpretations of various Old Testament passages. I have some serious disagreements with Heiser. I think there are some real methodological issues that extend throughout his work. And so I was asked to be interviewed for a kind of documentary YouTube video that was going to be dealing with Michael Heiser. Dorian Virtue is the one who was behind this documentary. I know who she is, but I don't know all that much about her channel or anything. But what I was told was that we were going to be talking about the doctrine of theosis. So that's an area that I'm really interested in, much more than I am interested in dealing with the work of Michael Heiser in particular. And during that conversation, all sorts of other things came up about the work of Michael Heiser as well, along with discussions of the doctrine of theosis. So there's some Heiser has a kind of doctrine of theosis, but his doctrine of theosis is not, at least this is my contention, it's not that historically rooted. So after that video came out, there were a number of other people interviewed. Like anything like this, when you do an interview as an expert for some kind of documentary or something like that, you're obviously not going to be the only person there. So you do it with a bunch of other people. I don't know what all of the other people said in all of their interviews. I wasn't privy to that, nor would that be a normal thing for me to have access to, just because I was asked to be interviewed for something. Anyway, when this thing came out, people got very upset about these critiques. In particular, people were upset about some of the claims that were made about Michael Heiser from some of the other individuals who were interviewed for this. Specifically, that Michael Heiser was accused of being a polytheist, that he was accused of being, heretical, and so after all of this, recently Remnant Radio did a discussion of this video and outlined some of the issues with the documentary that they had. Josh around Radio is a friend of mine, so no shade to throw at them at all or anything like that. But after that video came out, there were a number of people who were demanding that I apologize because of things that other people said in this video that I didn't say about Michael Heiser and misrepresentations of his work. So there's the story. And in the midst of all of this, what's my response? I'm not going to apologize if I haven't done anything that I see that I have done wrong that I need to apologize for. And I don't believe that I did do anything that was mistaken in this way at all. I was asked to provide some comments on some things that I had written on and that I had talked about for a video, so I did that. I'm not responsible for what anyone else said in the video, and this is a very weird standard if you start to judge what people believe or say based upon what people that they are associated with have said. And I'm not even associated with any. I don't even know any of these people that were interviewed. I know none of them. So I just happen to have been interviewed by someone who also interviewed these other people for some project. I have no connection to these people. I have no responsibility for what those individuals said, any more than if I speak at a conference with a number of other speakers, somehow I am responsible for what other speakers say. Or if I contribute a book article for some kind of volume, which I have done multiple occasions, I am not somehow responsible for the doctrine that is taught by or whatever is argued by the people who write other essays in that volume. That's just not how this kind of thing works. And so I don't have any regrets about participating in this project just because it was just a chance for me to talk about some things that I've written on and things that I care about, and that's fine. So that doesn't mean that I agree with what all of the other individuals said. It seemed that, yes, some of the language that they used was inflammatory. I have never accused Heiser of being a polytheist. However, I can see why someone would say that. There is my concern is not so much in terms of what Heiser specifically affirms or denies. It's really kind of implications of certain elements of his theology, or the dismissal of so many classical categories that are used to protect the creator-creature distinction. They're just not there in Heiser, because Heiser's very much a biblicist in the way that he approaches theology. My disagreements with Heiser are largely methodological, dealing with the question of what is the authority of creeds and confessions. How is it that we should look at the text of the New and the Old Testament in light of the history of the church? What is the proper role of using, historical critical conclusions about the text of the Old or New Testament? Those are really the kinds of issues that I have disagreements with Heiser on. So I wouldn't make those kinds of statements. Don't assume because someone else made those kinds of statements that somehow I am implicated in that. I guess the biggest critique is that, I supposedly gave credibility to these other people because I was part of this project, and supposedly these people are not credible. And to be honest, I don't know. I don't know what their academic background is. I haven't looked at their publications. I haven't looked at, citations of their work. I haven't done any of that stuff, and I don't really want to. And maybe you'd say that I'm just totally irresponsible, but I don't know. I'm kind of happy to talk to people about all sorts of things for different projects, and if people in the projects don't agree with me, I don't know. I just participated in a project for the Metropolitan Museum of Art on Caspar David Friedrich. I just did this interview on a painter who has a Lutheran background. So I was giving some kind of theological, contextual background of what's going on in the German Academy at that time. He's influenced by certain particular Lutheran thinkers. Kosegarten is the most significant one, who's pretty unknown. None of his stuff is translated into English. But if I participated in that project, what if there's somebody, they interviewed all sorts of people. I'm sure there are people that believe all sorts of things that have participated in this project in totally different fields of study. Am I implicated in whatever someone else involved in that has to say just because because I happen to be involved in a project with those people? No, of course not. I just was asked to talk about Lutheran theology and how it relates to Friedrich. And I love Friedrich's paintings, so it was a fun thing to do. I don't feel responsible to ask about the views of everyone else that happens to be involved. So those are my thoughts. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know what else you want me to say about it. I'm not going to grovel and apologize for talking about the doctrine of theosis, which I've written on pretty extensively. So, oh well. All right. Well, I don't know if you found this helpful. You probably, I don't know. Maybe you're ticked off that I haven't said more. So that's all I'm going to say about it. Thanks. God bless.